Welcome on in, everybody. It is Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. And just got back from being boots on the ground. Opening night, Miami Heat get a 103-102 victory over the Detroit Pistons in a game that a lot of ways felt all too familiar from last year. It was funny, man, because I was actually thinking about, leaning to one of my media counterparts who watch a lot of games next to, because they got to a point where oh man, Heat right now, they are killing it. It is it is at a point where they were up 20 and you're just look at this. Heat look like they're getting ready. It was right at the time where Caleb Martin, I was laughing. I was having a good time. Caleb Martin, who wasn't having a great shooting night, but you bet your ass when Caleb Martin has a toe on that 3-point line, that sucker's going in. It's going in. So we were all laughing. We're all having a good time. And then it was just like a little bit of it was like an Alex Burke 3 and just all right, 8-0 Pistons run. That was something. And then, Cade Cunningham, started going off and the run's 14-0. You're just this isn't great. And then Killian Hayes is hitting fadeaway jumpers over Tyler Hero. And all of a sudden the lead is 4. And you're just this isn't great. This feels all too familiar from last year. And Cade Cunningham, dude, that kid is a problem. I mean, you got to just really admire, first game back off that stress fracture from last year. That kid is really, really impressive. And that's a youthful team. And for whatever reason, always, you can change the names, you can change the faces. It's got a little magic to it where it just seems like that team just gives the Heat fits as of late. I remember I was doing when I did a Heat radio broadcast. I think it was my first time filling in for Dazzles. It was a Pistons game, and they lost, and I was just this was not a great first broadcast. Pistons beat the Heat, huh? Anyway, but look, there was a lot of fun stuff in the meanwhile before you had to hold on to your cheeks for another clutch game, just like it was last year. And for me, dude, to be honest with you, easily the most fun part of this game was Jaime Jaquez Jr. And I don't know if it's just because it's the most new thing, and that's just what I think we're all dying as Heat fans, not just for them to go on a long run, but you want a little something different. We have seen this concoction of players for the Miami Heat for many years in a row. A lot of us are very familiar with all of their work. Maybe we'll see a skyrocketing Tyler Hero this year. Bam Adebayo, I'll tell you what, was fantastic tonight. He, not just in the stats of getting his 22 points, but getting the line 10 times. I love that from him. He had this one, it was at the end of the shot clock, and it was maybe the prettiest step back jumper I'd ever seen him hit. It was late in the clock, and he hit it right over Isaiah Stewart, who was having a nice game. He's a little bit like a rhinoceros playing basketball, because he is terrifying in that he'll throw a ball over the backboard, but he'll also just body everybody for a rebound. So I wouldn't mess with Isaiah Stewart at all. He was, 14 and 14 tonight. You felt every little bit of it. But Bam hit this it was one of the prettiest jumpers I had ever seen him hit. And it just was all flow, boom, confidence like none other. And out of the Heat stars, Bam really had the most efficient offensive game, because this was a game that really the Heat had in hand for most of the night. You never really felt any pressure from the Detroit Pistons up until this late rally. And you did it with a terrible shooting night from Tyler Hero. You did it with a not great night from Jimmy Butler. It was, fine. But Jimmy, had no polish to his game tonight. It's crazy. He had 8 offensive rebounds. I don't know directly how many of those putbacks were second chance, but I'd venture to guess of I would say half of them he probably put back in. And so I'm talking probably, at least 8 of his 19 points tonight were off putbacks of his own original miss. And that's just Jimmy Butler. Like, that's Jimmy Butler in a nutshell. He is, even in the nights he just doesn't have the flow of it going, he's going to grind his ass to 20 points, whether that takes him 9 free throws and 4 putbacks and whatever the hell it is. And that's what you got out of Jimmy tonight. But certainly not the prettiest game. Tyler Hero was throwing up a lot of stuff. And I honestly, Tyler Hero's best plays tonight probably came on the defensive end, because Tyler was, it was interesting. There was this funny part of the first quarter where the Heat were like, kind of lulling, like it was just got off to a really slow start. And then all of a sudden, Tyler Hero gets a 3, gets a steal, gets it to Bam. What goes back to back. There was like a time I think the Heat had it was either 4 out of 5 or 4 straight. I can't remember, but they were just boom. It was Tyler steal, Jimmy steal, and then I think Kyle had a steal. And that really just got the Heat, kind of flipped the game going, because it was a little bit stuck in the mud. But that was probably the most impressive thing from Tyler. And at one point he was so upset with his shooting tonight. Like he hit a 3 and looked up to the sky like, thank you, finally. So yeah, that was the Jimmy and Tyler, had a little bit. It was an ugly game. It was an ugly game from the Stars and watching them offensively. Now, that being said, on the flip side of things, the second unit for the Heat, led mostly by Duncan Robinson, looked tremendous today. Duncan was such a catalyst for so much. I mean, not only did he have his 3-point shot going, still has the bag where everybody doesn't think that he can get by them, and he's just willy-nilly getting by everybody in the rim. He just has such a connectivity with his centers where he's finding Thomas Bryant for a big slam. Thomas Bryant's finding him going to the rim. We already know him and Bam are two sides of a coin. They're there. They just know each other. They could put themselves blindfolded in a labyrinth and they'd find each other just probably based on, connective instinct. So Duncan played absolutely fantastic today. Thomas Bryant brought a lot of energy, and he played 16 minutes, but he was +5, and it's just like, you're dying for that. You've been dying for that position behind Bam to be something of meaning, to be really, really effective. And I thought that was great. So Thomas Bryant showed up in a big, big way. Kevin Love, really nice game from Kevin today at 13 and 10. Wasn't shy taking shots today. I thought they played his burst very effectively. He was in there to close for Miami, which was not a very common thing for him last year. So, you really got you got the vibe from Kevin Love, and it felt like he just was on a great connect with a lot of his teammates as well. So that's all well and good, but let's talk about the best part of this game, which was the 13 minutes of Jaime Jaquez Jr. And this kid, baller. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we saw a little bit of it in, I didn't watch Jaime Jaquez in college, full disclosure. I watched the Canes. Canes, that's about it. I will check in on my Bucks every now and then to see how they're doing, but I'm a local college basketball fan. I'm a national college basketball fan. If there's some huge hype train guy, I'll check in on him. So I wasn't familiar with Jaime Jaquez Jr. I knew that he came into the league. Everybody said he polished his game after Jimmy Butler. Talking to him at Media Day and sitting down with the interview, which is on the channel, he loves a lot of those great ISO players. His favorite guys are, Jimmy, DeMar, Dwayne, Kobe Bryant, and he just looks so fluid in everything that he does. He's so confident with the ball in his hands. You beat him on one step, he's moving to another, or he's trying to position you with a pump fake, or he's got some movement with his pivot foot, his spin moves that he got going. Like, it was just, it was only 3 attempts, but it just was glorious. And he was on a minutes restriction tonight because he was banged up. He hurt his groin in practice. I want more. as soon as possible, because this kid was just, it wasn't just the fact that, oh my God, he's scoring points. It was the way he was scoring. There was just a polish to it, dude. The footwork was beautiful. He was finding teammates. He had a couple of steals. His impact was just tremendous every which way on the court. Here he was after the game. I got a little time with him by his locker, and this is what Triple J had to say.
I mean, what was the, I guess, just the juice that you were feeling emotionally going into a night like this? And when you finally get in there, did the ease come right away? Like, what was it, all that adrenaline feeling like?
Yeah, it was very exciting. I usually try to take a nap before a game. I couldn't even sleep. But I was, like I said, super excited. And when I got out there, I just felt like basketball. I think the nerves kind of settled down once I first got out there. I think the preseason helped a lot with those games. And I felt really comfortable.
So, a level standpoint, was there a speed? It didn't look like the game was too quick for you. Like, did it feel slower, quicker? How just the pace of that feel?
Honestly, I think I just prepared so hard this summer, worked so hard. Summer league, being here the entire time, playing these runs. I really just felt super ready for this moment. So it didn't feel fast. It didn't feel anything out of the ordinary for me.
Any fun messages from back home yet that you got to check?
Just a lot of good luck and congratulations messages that I got to go sort through and my text messages.
Here is head coach Erik Spoelstra on Jaime Jaquez's debut.
Yeah, it's something that he's familiar with. He has an it quality, whatever that it is, but where he'll make the appropriate play. It's not necessarily, like a lot of young players are just trying to, either they're going too fast or they're only looking to score. He was making the appropriate plays. The first one was a flare to Duncan. The second one, then it wasn't open, so he went to work. And the third one, he went and attacked. They converged, and he kicked it out. Those were three, savvy plays, for a young player. But you can see his footwork, you can see his poise, and his skill level, pretty much all across the board, off the dribble and cuts and things of that nature. We have to keep the minutes where they are right now, but it's hard not to be encouraged by those minutes.
And Bam Adebayo, all the praise in the world. Bam was a one-and-doneer, came in 19 years old, had to really find his way to be a starter in the Heat rotation. And, I think it was frustrating. He didn't play as much as he did as a young guy, and which is usually the common thing, especially with Erik Spoelstra. And Bam's like, dude, this guy ain't your run-of-the-mill rookie.
Jaime's not a regular rookie. A guy that's experienced. He's been in big games before. He's been in those games where he's needed to be a leader. He's needed to be the one option, and that's through all those years in college. Me and Tyler came in here at 19, 1 year in college, and got to figure it out. I feel like he's coming to the league ready, and he's building on his moment.
I mean, he was. Yeah, I think there was just an element of tonight. It's like, yeah, you got the crew back. The starting lineup had Kyle Lowry in it. Kyle did get his way and start. He was 0 of 1 today. No points, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, no turnovers. A lot of people are freaking out about Kyle Lowry. I'm gonna do this, teenager. I'm not gonna freak out. It would have to be something really catastrophic for me to freak out. I'm not freaking out about that. I'm not freaking out about Tyler Hero's shot attempts tonight. Not freaking out about the Drew. Everybody acted like Drew Smith when he was going to step on the court. The entire hardwood was going to crumble to the crater to the core of the earth. Drew Smith, he was fine tonight. Basketball happened with him there. Caleb Mart was a little bit rusty. Pretty expected. He did not play very much. Even Jimmy did not play games in the preseason. So for him to have a clunky 19 points tonight, not very surprising. I think that it's annoying. It's certainly, like, if you want to be annoyed that the Heat gave up a 20-point lead again, Yeah, that's annoying. Especially knowing that you got a lot of good from that second unit. You probably should have taken this over the goal line, and your starters should have rested for what's going to be a very, very hard weekend. But it's almost funny. I'm like numb. I almost like I walked down to the media room laughing about it because it's like, hey, we not only did the team run it back and the organization ran it back, and everybody's so mad that once again they ran it back. But even down to the clutch games that were blowouts turning into clutch games, you could only help but laugh. We're having a good time, baby. Basketball is back. The only thing that I think I'm upset about tonight that I legitimately is a game one thing to be upset about is I didn't get a Nikola Jovic tonight. And again, like I'm just kind of at a point where I want to see some new stuff. Now, where does he go? It's going to be tough because, you're talking about a game where you didn't have Haywood Highsmith and Kevin Love played well. Duncan Robinson played well. You could argue Duncan Robinson was the best player for the Heat tonight. So where is he going to? Thomas Bryant was good. Where is Nikola going to get those minutes? I don't know. It's a good question. I would imagine like second night of a back-to-back, are the vets going to play and are they going to go in that? That's a possibility. You can't rule that out. But that was probably my only legitimate disappointment. Right? I was like, man, we got no Jovic minutes at all. Just nothing. Like, what is the kid got to do to get a little bit of Runsky, But it's a mild frustration because I'm so excited about what Jaime did tonight. He was just kid looked good. He looked good. Also, Rocky was there. Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. And if you don't know old Tobes loves the Rocky series from Rocky 1 through 5. I love 5. I think 5 is an underrated movie. I like Rocky Balboa. I like Creed. I like Creed 2. Creed 3 was interesting, but we love it, baby. It was a fun night. Basketball. If they would have lost, obviously, welcome to sports. I would have been devastated coming here tonight, but I'm not going to get crazy about a game one. They pulled it out. They avoided disaster. Bam looked fantastic. Jaime Jaquez looked fantastic. Duncan Robinson looked fantastic. And you got this win with, your two, main forces of offense and Jimmy and Tyler not, shooting it that great. And as a team, they didn't. They shot 40% today. They did get to the free throw line 26 times. 19 of those were Bam and Jimmy. So, Thomas Bryant got it. Thomas Bryant was very impressive in his time. So, game one's in the books, baby. Got a big time road weekend coming on up. It was fun to be back, boots on the ground tonight, and great and excited to have this season underway.